Two faiths, one battlefield. At Grunwald in 1410, Europe's last great crusading army met a force that defied expectation. The Teutonic Knights, masters of the Baltic for centuries, faced Poland's disciplined ranks alongside Lithuania's fierce cavalry, nations united by necessity. For King Jagiełło and Grand Duke Vytautas, cousins bound by survival, this wasn't merely battle, but vindication. Their victory broke the Order's dominion and reshaped Northern Europe forever. In one summer day, amid Polish meadows, the medieval world pivoted. A crusading age built on divine certainty yielded to one where kings, not popes, determined destiny. His name was Jogaila, son of Algirdas, heir to the last pagan realm of Europe. Behind him stretched a land of forests and fire, still whispering the prayers of older gods. Before him, across the Niemen River, moved men who carried faith as if it were a weapon. The dawn was pale over the water, turning even the light fog into mist. From the high bank, the boy watched the day spread through the forest, catching the glint of distant helms beyond the trees. The air smelled of pine smoke and iron. Below, where the river bent around a cluster of huts, only ash remained, charred wood, fallen idols, silence. He did not move. He had seen smoke before, but not like this. The fire on the far shore did not die with the night. It burned as though morning itself had consented to it. Somewhere among that haze rode the men who called themselves Brothers of the Cross, the soldiers of the German House of St. Mary in Jerusalem. They had come north long ago, carrying the memory of deserts and holy wars, and they would not leave until the last of the heathen gods had been silenced. The Teutonic Order had not been born here. Its vows were first spoken under the blinding sun of the Holy Land, where German pilgrims tended the sick and buried the fallen among the ruins of Acre. When the final stronghold of Christendom fell to the east, those warriors were left without a crusade, but not without conviction. They turned from the sands to the snows, seeking another frontier where unbelief could be conquered. It was Duke Conrad of Masovia who summoned them, an invitation that would reshape the north. In the 1220s, harried by Prussian raids, Conrad promised the knights land if they would defend his borders and baptize his enemies. The bargain brought them to the Baltic shore, and there they built their kingdom of stone. Thorn, Elbing, Königsberg, fortresses rose like prayers answered in iron. Marshes were drained, forests cut down, villages renamed in Latin tongues. The crusade had found a new Jerusalem amid pine and frost. Through that century, the Black Cross advanced, and with it, the gospel of conquest. Pagan Prussia was broken and subdued, its people scattered or baptized by the sword. Churches replaced temples. Saints' days replaced the rites of harvest and fire. Chroniclers in distant monasteries wrote of triumph, of a frontier purified for God. Yet east of the conquered lands, beyond the slow rivers that wound through endless forest, another people watched and waited. Lithuania was older than its name. It was not born from parchment or decree, but from the slow joining of tribes bound by oath and blood. Its strength lay in the woods and the silence between them, in riders who knew every marsh and track. Its lords were pagans still, their priests tending sacred flames, their warriors swearing by thunder and oak. The cross had not yet entered their forests, and they meant to keep it so. Under Gediminas, the Grand Duke who ruled from Vilnius, Lithuania became a realm both feared and courted. He wrote letters to the Pope, offered friendship to merchants from Lübeck and Riga, invited monks to preach in his cities, and yet he himself remained unbaptized. In his halls, Latin words mixed with the chants of ancient rites. He understood that power did not always lie in faith, but in appearing to possess it. His sons inherited that delicate balance. Algirdas fought eastward against the Tatars and the princes of Moscow. Kęstutis, his brother, turned west, guarding the frontier against the Brothers of the Cross. Between them, they held back the flood, though every year the river ran redder. When the Teutonic Order burned one village, Lithuanian riders answered by setting fire to a Prussian fort. The war never ceased. It only slept when winter froze the rivers. The Brothers of the Order called their struggle holy, their dead martyrs. The Lithuanians saw it as survival. Yet even among the forest tribes, change had begun. Captives returned from Prussia with tales of stone cities and bells that called men to prayer. Traders brought crosses carved from silver, not as idols, but as curiosities. The world beyond the trees was moving, and the gods of wood and fire could not stop it forever. Jogaila was born into that slow dying of an age. His father, Algirdas, ruled wisely, but knew the end was coming. The order had grown too rich, too disciplined. Its fortresses guarded roads that once belonged to the pagans themselves. Each summer brought new crusaders, nobles from Germany, France, and England, seeking salvation through blood. Their banners shone across the fields of Samagitia, and their chronicles already spoke of victory. In Vilnius, the court whispered of alliances, of letters sent in secret to Poland and Hungary. Baptism was no longer an insult, but a bargaining chip. Algirdas hesitated, as had his father before him. To embrace the cross would mean survival, yet also surrender. To reject it would mean fire without end. When Algirdas died, the burden passed to Jogaila. Still young, he inherited not only a throne, but a war older than his name. His uncle Kęstutis, guardian of the old faith, stood beside him for a time, until the order's intrigue sowed suspicion between them. Soon the two were enemies, one clinging to the gods of the forest, the other weighing the power of the cross. In 1382, Kęstutis was taken prisoner by the very knights who had once feared him. Days later, he was found dead in their fortress. Whether by his own hand or another's, the message was the same. The old gods were dying, and their champions with them. His son Vytautas escaped